Rocky, you had us sitting on pins and needles. Coach, how are you today, and what's your thoughts about the game?
Well, if you were on pins and needles, how do you think I felt?
I bet you were.
Well, going into the game as coaches, we knew that they had a very explosive offense. We didn't know their defense would play that well, so I was a little disappointed on how we moved the ball. Now, we hurt ourselves with several penalties, a couple alignment problems, and a couple holding penalties probably kept us down a little bit. But I was proud of the players because they hung in there tough, mentally anyway, and kept playing until we finally won the game.
Rocky, it was 4th and 9. You were on your own 38, down 14-13, with 6 minutes left to go in the game. I try to get you to acknowledge this in post-game. Maybe you feel a little different about it now. Was that a risky decision on your part, or was that the only decision?
Well, I believe it was the only decision to be made. I mean, obviously, I thought about it a little while because we took time out to think about it. But if we didn't make it, we had to stop them anyway and get the ball back. If we do make it, we've got a chance to put ourselves ahead in the game and put the pressure back on them. So there was I didn't see any reason not to do that. I mean, if we don't get it, we got to stop them. If we do get it, we got a chance to go ahead, and we still got to stop them to win the game. So I didn't see any question in that.
Coach, I would like to know the backstory on that just a little bit, like the communication on the headsets, the thought process. At what point do you go, we're in 4-down territory? How's all that lay out, and how many minutes leading up to that one moment come into that big decision, or is it pretty on the spot during the timeout?
Well, most of it's thinking about it. Since I'm not calling the offensive plays, I'm thinking about it as we're moving the ball down there, and obviously I'm hoping we're going to score and go ahead and then try to stop them on defense. But so I'm thinking about it the whole time, but I wasn't sure. We called timeout so I could check with our kicker to see if he thought he could make a 56-yarder or something, because he'd made a 52-yarder, and he told me he didn't think so going that way in the stadium because there's a breeze that blows through that part of the stadium. So then the idea is to punt it down there and put it inside the 10, and I'm going, well, we put it inside the 10. We still got to stop them to get the ball back. We might as well go for it here, and if we don't make it, we'll try to stop them here.
Rocky Long with us on Extra 1360. Aztecs get a win over the weekend, 1-1 on the season. They have Arizona State, who just upset Michigan State over the weekend. Michigan State was ranked number 15. Herm Edwards has that team playing well. We'll have that game for you coming up Saturday night right here on Extra 1360. Get out there to Sdsu Stadium. Rocky, I did want to ask about your quarterback. Anyone who watches Aztec football knows how tough Christian Chapman is. In fact, at times it looks like he welcomes contact. So to see a guy that tough look to be in as much pain as he was in during the game on that hit, can you give us an update with Christian?
Yeah, that's hard on us. It's a blow to all of us. But the good news is that they think he's going to be 3 to 6 weeks and he'll be able to play again. It depends on how quickly he heals up. There's not significant damage to his knee, even though there's some strains and pulls and all that stuff in there. But after the MRI, they figure that he'll be good to go in 3 to 6 weeks.
What is it, Coach? Is MCL?
Well, the MCL, I guess, is the problem. The ACL is fine, and there was no cartilage damage whatsoever, so the knee is stable. It's just to get it back in shape and get everything strengthened up and get them the swelling down and all that, but they don't see any need for surgery or anything like that. So 3 to 6 weeks is what they told me yesterday.
Well, Ryan Agnew, Jr. from South Lake Carroll High School in Texas, came in and went 11 for 17, 159 yards, had 2 interceptions. Imagine you don't like the interceptions. What did you like about Ryan Agnew's performance?
Oh, I thought he went in there and he acted confident. He made some plays with his feet. I mean, he scrambled around, kept plays alive, made some good decisions throwing the ball. One of them bounced off a receiver's hand that should have been a good completion. I was mad at him on the second one because I thought he threw it into traffic, but when you see where the safety came to intercept that, there's no way a quarterback would have seen that safety, I don't think. So it wasn't as bad as it looked, and after I watched the film, I wasn't as mad as I was on the sideline. But no, I thought he played well. To be called in to duty like that, he played well.
Rocky, one of the MOs of your program is turnover ratio. I believe you guys coming in had the best turnover ratio in all of college football since 2015. I think your plus-minus was plus 43. You haven't had a lot of takeaways this season. Is that something that you can work on, or is that more how the game unfolds, lays out?
Well, we work on it all the time, and that's one of the disappointments I think in the first two games is we've had one interception, and we've actually turned the ball over. If you count giving up a safety, which I count as a turnover, we've turned the ball over 3 times. So we're lacking in that situation. I don't know why. I mean, we work on it the same way, exactly the same every year, and some years you get them, some years you don't. I hope it picks up here pretty quick.
Coach, you talked about the guys resolved and your pride in them being able to just stick with it and push through. Was there a moment that you saw your team get out of the rut?
Well, I think I think when we made a couple pass plays in the second half, I thought that there was a little more spark on the sidelines. I mean, the way I'm sure our players went in there thinking it was going to be easy, and I don't care what you tell them, they believe what they want to believe most of the time. I thought that we looked lackadaisical in the first half. In the second half, I thought we came out with a new resolve. But I think we had to have a couple big pass plays hit them and give us some momentum before we started making a run at them.
Rocky, I went home after the game, opened up a cold one. Arizona State, Michigan State was still on, so I was able to watch some film. So I'll be ready to talk film with you when you get to the Rocky Long Show coming up on Wednesday. You ready for that?
I'm ready.
Have you already started looking at Arizona State? And if so, what was the initial thing that jumped out to you watching a Herm Edwards coach team?
Well, yeah, we watched it for about 12 hours yesterday. We watched all the film, and they are the same. I mean, they're obviously running a different defense and a different offense a little bit. Offense is fairly similar. But they were like they were last year. I mean, they're a very talented Pac-12 football team that's playing with a new enthusiasm. They're playing a little bit harder. They're playing with a little more intensity. They seem like they're having fun where they didn't last year. So what you're seeing is a team that's very much the same team as last year athletically. What you see is a renewed spirit and a new defense.
So what's it going to take for you guys to beat them?
Obviously, we're going to have to play a lot better than we did last week, and play as good as we did in the first half against Stanford. I think we'll show up and play. Now they have some huge advantages because they know our defense as well as anybody now that they've seen it all through spring practice and all through fall camp. Now our offense knows their defense pretty well too, so I don't know if that gives the offense an advantage or not, but we're going to find out. But they're a very talented team that's playing at a high level right now, and very excited about a new coaching staff and a new attitude. But that doesn't mean anything once you start hitting each other.
That's
Amen.
right, Rocky. They've got your defensive coordinator, right?
Danny Gonzalez. They know all our signals and all those sort of things, so they have some advantages that they wouldn't normally have.
So you got to switch the signals.
Either that or someone else has to give them, and we have to have 4 or 5. You know how that works on the sidelines.
Yeah,
That's
right.
ridiculous. 4 or 5 different guys are giving signals, and then you guys have to figure out which one's live and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, the game within the game. This is a lot of fun. It's going to be a great contest, and we're looking forward to an Aztecs victory and talking to you again on Monday morning. Coach, best of luck. Have a great work week.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.
All
Thanks,
right. Thank
Rocky.
you for the time.
He said renewed spirit.
Renewed spirit. He's
Renewed
like,
spirit.
they're playing hard. They got a renewed spirit, got a new head coach. Kind of gives you that belief system.
Yep.
It's like, hey, if we just play a little harder, we're going to win. But what did he say? They're the same.
They're the same.
They're the same
Right.
guys. They're the same athletes. It's more or less the same program. He's like, we can beat these guys. And I can just hear it as he's talking to us. That's the message going to his team in his meeting room. We can beat these guys. Put the film up from last year. I'll show you how we do it.